Welcome to the Backyard Road Trips podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Jim.
I'm Ken.
And we have my father, Ken Lamothe, here for a full episode about mostly travel, I would say. We kind of were going off the cuff here. We didn't do a good job with making a crib sheet this time, as I usually make a little note sheet with questions. But we, since our podcast is typically kinda about travel, we'll stick to that since we haven't grilled him yet about his favorite backyard road trips or his favorite trips in general.
Have you been to your backyard lately? How was the flood over there?
It was damp, but no more than damp. Yeah.
I remember just the story about your basement getting totally.
Oh, yeah.
What changed? Why suddenly
Backyard river trip.
yeah, right.
All I can see is there's a culvert under the East Town Street. I think that was clogged up 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
And we had 3 cars totaled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So do you have a favorite backyard road trip? Let's say in Eastern Connecticut. Where's your favorite haunt?
Oh, dear.
He doesn't like to go anywhere. He wants to sit at home and listen to music and read the New York Times.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. I'm better at answering questions than I am coming up with new stuff.
Okay.
Of course, you did ask a question.
You did ask it. Yeah, you didn't answer it.
I know. I'm stalling.
Oh, I see.
Well, favorite vacation ever.
Favorite vacation ever.
Go big instead of small.
God,
right?
yeah,
That's
go
right.
big. Oh man, let's see. Going to England the first time.
When was that? In the Army?
It was no. It was right after Elvis died.
He was in the Royal Air Force. The Royal.
I shot down a Messerschmitt. I think it was 77, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Punk rock was just starting.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah.
Did you go to some shows then?
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Yeah.
You saw the Clash?
Really?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
The Razios.
I don't know if you're making stuff up anymore.
I think
Who did you see?
I think the Rizillos were actually from L.A., but that's it.
No, we just wandered around England for a couple weeks.
Wow. Who'd you
It
go
was
with?
My lovely and adorable wife.
3
3
weeks.
weeks. Excuse me.
you said.
3 weeks.
Wow, 3 weeks you went for.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a great trip.
It was a very good trip.
It was also because I wasn't there, I think.
No, because when we took Zach, when he was 10?
We all got dandruff.
What?
He was offered a beer in Dublin at age 10.
Did you accept?
Dublin's not in England, but yeah.
Well, it's,
No, but it's almost the British Isles.
Yeah.
just ask them Irish. They're okay with it. There's been no problems with that. So,
All
That
right.
was fun. That was good.
them Irish.
None allowed. I saw your sign. No Irish right at your door.
Yeah.
How about worst vacation or worst place that you visited?
God.
Taffville, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. It was 3 weeks. 3 weeks in Taffville. Oh, it was amazing. Nippy's Field for a week at Nippy's Field. Oh, it was great. Dairy Queen every night. Oh man.
Slave.
You can only have so many blizzards.
Slave to the machine tattoos.
That's right. That's right.
That was a little short-lived tattoo parlor in town.
I don't remember.
No, Slave to the Machine. Nice.
Pretty cute.
Very cute.
And there was one like
Juice Man, the Juice Man's World or something. That's like vaping stuff.
Okay.
That's now.
But there was also a tattoo parlor right across from what's now Listella's.
Yeah, that was Slave to the Machine.
Slave to the Machine.
All right.
I thought it was like I thought murder was involved in the title.
Well, it's similar. I mean,
yeah. Not kinder and gentler tattoos.
No, not so much. You can't.
Do
get
either
into-
of you have tattoos?
No, you're the only one. That
No.
has this.
No.
I had a
Get
piercing.
naked. Let's.
I had a piercing once.
Really?
Yes.
What'd you get pierced?
That's an awfully personal question.
Pretty progressive guy.
My left ear.
All right. When was that?
It was. You remember your health teacher freshman year?
What was his name?
Mr. Vinny Cirillo.
Vinny
of
Cirillo.
course.
That's right. Oh,
One
how
of-
can I forget him?
One of my students comes over and says, "Hey, Mr. Cirillo's got an earring." I said, "He does." Yeah, he doesn't wear it. I says, "I'll tell you what. Tell him he wears it to school one day. I'll get my ear pierced and wear an earring." So after about 2 months, he wore it.
Wow.
He reported it to me. So I went to Zach's pediatrician. They pierced it.
Not the piercing pagoda in the mall.
No, wherever you went to Zack's pediatrician to get your.
And I came to realize.
What was the copay on that one?
Oh, right.
And so, like, how did you walk into the pediatrician and say, I want my ear pierced?
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
So you just went to the pediatrician.
Yeah.
And
for some reason, I knew
You got
that
one hell of
they
a health
did.
plan.
yeah, I know, right.
I know they did ear piercings.
Wow.
So, and I learned within the next 2 weeks that it made sleeping on the left side really, really, really uncomfortable. Well, I wake up one day and my earlobe was the size of a diesel, a diesel truck tire.
Did you get a big infection there?
Yes, that is
boy.
correct.
Oh.
And I said, this isn't right. So I did what any normal human being would do. I went to the nurse's office before school. The nurse, Mrs. Gravel, and her assistant fell on the floor. They were laughing so hard. They thought it was very amusing that I came in because my left earlobe was the size of Rhode Island. And
Wow.
they told me that you have to go and get either 14 karat gold stud or sterling silver. And mine was a cheapo Norwich pediatric.
You'd think the doctor would not be the one who got a little tinsy on the
doctor had
studs.
nothing to do with this.
Oh.
No, it was his assistant.
She gave something out of her purse? What happened?
Well,
One earring off the floor.
Yeah, there you go.
so no tattoos, and for 2 weeks.
Bad infection from that.
That's correct.
Earring.
Now,
All right.
Jim, you got your ears pierced by a moil, right?
You failed Boyle. He really cut off a piece. All right. Well, my original question was worst place you visited. So besides the pediatrician, you bungled up your
worst place to visit.
Yeah. Come on. You've got to have some stinkers up in the.
You could always do. I mean,
Uh-oh.
I would nominate one of the worst restaurants we'd ever been to.
Okay.
Remember that place that I recommended we go in Erie, Pennsylvania?
Oh,
That was pretty,
I have heard Erie, Pennsylvania referred to as the armpit of the Great Lakes. I'm not about to argue.
I found a restaurant.
Okay.
We were driving from Cleveland to Toronto, I believe. We went through Erie. So I said, oh, we should go eat at, Home Run Cafe or something like this.
And I realized that Erie all those years had been misspelled. It should be, in fact, Eerie. It was not a nice town.
And one of the places when you arrive, like just everybody stares at you like, why are you here?
All
Type
three
thing.
people who were in there.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I got some kind of sandwich. It was just a pretty scary place.
That was not.
And it was I think it was like a giant hole in the wall. It was really just, yeah.
What was
It
the name of this
unsettling.
restaurant?
I actually don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
not
could
even-
accidentally happen to
And
put
he
it in
remembers
there.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not one of my better choices.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it was. I mean,
Good night, Charlie.
Good night, Charlie, man.
Touchdown.
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 Hey, touchdown.
You stole
Good
it,
job,
bud.
Good night, beefcake.
See you in the morning, sir. Yeah, that was not. I haven't been to a lot of really, really lousy restaurants. That was one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
I mean, there are restaurants I have no intent going back to, but boy,
Right.
that was
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
also a place by the Delaware Water Gap that was unexceptional.
Why was the same kind of deal, or?
No, we just it was just bad. We just decided to take a scenic trip home from Sealings Grove
Oh,
and not go on the highway, but go parallel the Delaware River.
yep.
And then before we got into New York State, there was a restaurant. Hey, let's stop here.
Yeah, not so good. Yeah. Have you, Jim, any really terrible restaurant experiences?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're right. These are bad questions. Like just pulling
Yeah, pull them out of the
one
sky.
out of a million memories.
I know you kind of blot them out of your
Yeah.
mind.
Forgettable things. It's supposed to be forgettable.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of it. Well, okay.
Zach, lousy restaurants besides Erie, Pennsylvania.
That was the one that really stuck out to me, and I did kind of offer this one up in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I think that was. I'm trying to think of any place I've been that was really dirty. I don't know.
Linda and I drove cross country for our honeymoon. 5 weeks, 10,000 miles, maybe 20 miles on interstate highways. Rest of them are all back roads. I decided, because I'm a brilliant human being, that at a certain time each night, I don't remember what time it was, maybe let's say 6:30, we would stop at the first motel, hotel / that was there, and we'd stay there for the night, and we'd eat the first restaurant we saw at 6:30 that night. That lasted one day. It was a cheapo motel, and the food was terrible.
You ate at the motel?
No, we ate at a different restaurant.
Okay.
It was somewhere in the backwoods of Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Geez,
boy.
Pennsylvania's
That's
really
Yeah, not a good batting
Avoid at all
average.
costs.
Yeah.
Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really. I think,
Ooh. But no, it was going to be great. We're going to stop at 6:30 every day, purely at random. Boy, it's going to be. No, it wasn't great. Wasn't great.
so neither the motel or the food.
No, we struck out on both counts.
Okay.
Yeah, we went 0 for 2 with 2 big Ks.
Have you ever been to a really seedy motel?
Yeah, in West Yarmouth.
Oh, true. Yeah, you just were there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, do you mean seedy as in like untoward?
No, I think it doesn't matter. Just like,
I mean, that was a scummy hotel.
yeah,
The one-
scummy.
I have vague memories of Port of San Juan.
Okay.
I don't
Very
think
drunk. So.
I don't think the restaurant was lousy, but I remember getting eaten by sand fleas in someplace on the Cape that became
Treehouse. Yeah.
Treehouse. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Yeah, you were just saying how they opened up a new place there, right?
Yeah. And that
I don't think they
became-
have the sand fleas anymore.
Yeah,
that did not come with this purchase, right?
Right. Yeah. That was probably mid '90s. We were there, and Tom Skerritt from Picket
That's right.
Fences was eating. I'm gonna just check the door. Hang on one
Okay,
second.
no problem. Oh, is that Andrew? It is. It's about that time.
Yeah, Tom Skerritt, who was a 3rd-tier actor who was in some TV show at the time that Zach, I'm sure, can remember what the title was. I cannot. And there he was. It was Tom Skerritt getting eaten by sand fleas also.
Okay. So we've got some pretty bad stories. What about a couple highlights at all?
Oh,
Any state
geez.
that really took you by surprise that you've been to?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
On our cross country trip. This was before GPSs. It was before cell phones. We went by the mobile travel guide. We would go into a different region of the country and buy the mobile travel guide for that region. We ended up in a godforsaken town called Murdo, South Dakota. And we went to the Star Family Restaurant, which got a really great review in the mobile travel guide. They were right.
Really?
I had the best steak I ever had in my life for
Wow.
$5.50.
Wow, that's great.
It was, and you know what's funny? We looked it up the last year. By God, it's still in existence.
Really.
Murdo, South Dakota.
If you absolutely found yourself back in South Dakota, would you
I
go?
would
again?
be there in a heartbeat.
Would you call it a destination? Would
Oh,
you go there?
Absolutely. You go to the Badlands, you go to the Black Hills, you go to Mount Rushmore, and you go to the Star Family Restaurant, Murdo, South Dakota.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
And we also went to an antique car museum in Murdo, and we did a laundry.
They got it all.
Yeah, Murdo was like our home away from home.
Zach, how about you? The question is, any place that really took you by surprise in a good way?
Kind of a whopping question here. Took me by surprise. Maybe the first times that I've really had ever been.
These questions are not easy.
No, they're not easy
Well,
at all.
that's what we get for
not preparing.
winging it completely.
You'll get the
Yeah.
big bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of places that I've really enjoyed going to that I didn't think much about the area. One was even Western Connecticut, like the Litchfield Hills.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. That's a great answer.
I didn't know very well when I first started kind of exploring, especially with Jackie. We'd be like, oh, these are amazing little towns. And I guess they always had the image to me of being just very she and, that kind of like very New York North, maybe New York City North, not in population, but just by like the pretentiousness and, and really not so much.
No, I think that area is kind of a refuge for people who are from New York. 'Cause it's it's very unmetropolitan.
Right. Tucson. I liked Tucson a lot. And that one I just went with a few friends that invited me, and it never was on my list of places to go. And I thought it was a really cool city. And it was nice because we stayed near the university. And the university area has more of your chains or, some independent stuff, but certainly catering to college students. But going to downtown Tucson was pretty neat. There's a lot of kind of 70s, retro architecture and, good, good restaurants but just places that you just don't think of Tucson. It
sounds a lot like Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Which also had the Miracle Mile.
Mm-hmm.
It was catered to students and stuff. But then you got into downtown Santa Fe, which was basically a block.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really great.
But the architecture would be a little bit different in Santa Fe than Tucson.
Yes, it was definitely not 70s retro. It was definitely more Pueblo.
Right. Yeah, so that was definitely, I thought I liked Reykjavik a lot as a city. I thought that was a really, there goes the Cowboys.
Screaming, the Cowboys are out.
Yeah,
they have a good little comeback.
They did, yeah.
32 to 48.
If they had 5 quarters, they might have been able to pull it off.
Oh God, 40 years ago, we had the worst lobster in our lives in Portland, Maine. Oh, both of us. Oh, I mean, how can you have a lousy lobster in Maine?
And that's still around. That's still there. Boone's.
The same.
Oh, is that right?
Same restaurant. What'd you say?
Oh, the same lobster.
The same lobster.
They just everyone's eating that same lobster. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, Boone's is still there.
Oh, so you even know where the...
Yeah, that's where we went. And the lobster died, right? Was that the deal?
Yeah, it was.
Took forever. And that's one thing about Portland. So, I mean, that was when I was young. But also, I went there probably in college and during the winter. And I remember going down into Portland and being like, there's nowhere open. There was no place that was open. That was the same thing that we had found years earlier. And what a renaissance that city has had. Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I know. I haven't been back since the Renaissance.
Well, you have with us.
Oh, it was...
a few times.
Oh, I felt that there was still better days ahead of it.
No, well, I mean, like last year we went.
This can't possibly be done.
We went to Portland last year?
Or 2 years
Where
ago.
was I?
Remember we went to the Bissell Brothers and you had...
Oh, yeah, Bissell Brothers, yeah.
We've stayed in Freeport, I think, 2 of the last maybe 5 or 6 years. We went to the Sea Dogs.
Obviously, I have no credibility whatsoever.
Memory's gone.
I have an IQ of 12.
To be honest, though, because Portland is so wildly appealing now, the times that we have gone with the whole family, we haven't been able to park downtown. Oh. It's so crowded. So it's the times that I've been
as Yogi Berra once said, nobody goes there. It's too crowded.
Right. So we've tried to park and it didn't work out. So you hadn't gone to see the restaurants and stuff area, but we did drive through the city a few times. So
that begs the next question: is where's been a not worth the hype?
I got one.
All right,
Boulder, Colorado.
Okay,
Boulder. So we stayed in Denver. Really liked Denver. We were told to take a day trip to Boulder. It was hot as hell, too. It was 104 degrees or something. We went to Boulder for the day, and we went to Avery Brewing on the way there. It's outside of town. Oh, this is a great start. Boulder kind of is the same setup as Burlington's Church Street with a road that's a pedestrian mall, basically, and there's other roads in between. And we were there, and it was just kind of it was mostly chains or college bars. I mean, University of Colorado is there, which makes sense, but there wasn't. I thought it was going to be a really hip town, which might have been different if I was 21 enjoying this town. But to me, it was definitely one that was lackluster. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so definitely
I can give you the flip side of that.
Okay.
We'd wanted to go to Portland, Oregon for a while. Zach had recommended it, but I was probably because of the TV show Portlandia. I was sure that Carrie Brownstein and Fred Armisen were going to be everywhere. They were not. Portland was really a nice town. Are the people a little bit offbeat? Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. People in Franklin are a little offbeat, too.
Only a little bit polite.
And I just found extremely, extremely sociable, pleasant city.
A refreshing thing here. I love Portlandia. So, I would definitely expect to see some of the caricatures
not at all.
Well, did you visit any feminist bookstores, though? Because, that one's sold.
Or going to a restaurant and finding out the background of the chicken you're eating.
That's right. Good one.
or tie your kids to the fence, but let the dog go. That's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yep. Mm.
a couple others that I think would kind of fit. Well, I don't know. So, I mean, Quebec City to me is a fantastic. Fantastic city. There was one of the few places as a child I remember going. We always took family vacations, and except for the one trip when I was about 14, when I was in a constant bad mood. I
Starting to get his period.
I remember at 9 we went to Quebec City, and I just didn't really care for it. I wasn't looking at the beauty of the architecture as much at that age, but I just think, and we didn't even do a lot of kids stuff at each of the places.
No.
So like when we would go to California, I mentioned this before, we'd go to, John Steinbeck's house and blah, 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 and whoever's. But just Quebec, I don't know what it was, but I just didn't really have a
I was
interest
not
in the
9
city.
years old, and I agree with you. I was disappointed in Quebec City.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I thought Ottawa, which is
And I loved Ottawa.
I thought Ottawa was much nicer.
Yeah, which is funny because I've been back to Quebec 4 times since then.
And loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
One of it is, to quote Rick Steves, and then we kind of did this in New York too. Every time I've been back, I've stayed right in the old, in the French,
Yes.
in the old
Yes.
town. So I think when you are staying outside of town, you've got to keep shuttling. You go, I'm here just for now. Okay, we'll find food. We'll find this. We'll find that. When you're staying right in town, and it's not big like Manhattan. It's a relatively small, general area of the town that you're able to go back, rest, go back and forth as you need to, and kind of have that home base, if you will, which I think is important.
I think that's one of the reasons why we enjoyed Santa Fe so much.
Yeah.
That our hotel was half a block from that city square.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just there, and there were no Miracle Mile, there was no
Right.
Walmarts, there were no any of that stuff, and it was just really nice. But you were there as part of it.
Right. And I think that if I took the kids there, they have an aquarium, which I've never been to. There's, the waterfall we've been to, but they would probably like that. And there's also the island there, which of course I can't think of it, the
Quebec
name.
Island.
Yeah, there we go. Ill Day something that you can like ride bikes and whatever else. So they would like those. But going as an adult, it was more just like kind of like popping in and out of the stores, different places for a meal or for a drink or something like that, which was much more adult oriented than maybe for kids, I would have said. So maybe where Ottawa, I remember really enjoying that and then enjoying that every time I've been back. Montreal, I have never loved Montreal.
Montreal and Toronto are both so big.
Yeah.
I mean, they are really
Right.
big cities.
Right. Yeah.
And as such, I wasn't crazy about either of them.
Right. I liked Toronto. I think I liked Toronto better than Montreal. The one time we went to Montreal, I want to say it ended up in a different, again, it's a lot about the area. I mean, just like
Sure.
going to New York this trip and just going to Times Square and Rockefeller Center and it's hordes of people is very different if you're going to a neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Right.
I mean, or if you're going even to the Upper West Side or Upper East Side, because it's just where everybody goes and it's insane. Where I kind of felt like that way with Montreal. Like I go to Old Montreal or St. Catherine Street, and it has that feel where it's like maybe exploring, like really having to take that deeper dive, which I often do in places. But often we go there the first time, you want to kind of see the stuff you're supposed to see.
Yeah.
That's a similar thing with Paris with me. When we went to Paris, I felt like it was kind of like Disney World for Euro Disney, just because you had to go see the Louvre. You had to go
to
see
Versailles. You had to go to the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
where it would have been really cool just to kind of enjoy the neighborhoods and kind of live like a Parisian, wear a beret and be mean.
Smoke Gauloise.
Right. And kind of have that without having to do all that stuff because with the tourists comes the shoving and comes the
Sure.
scam artists and comes the lines.
I remember Versailles.
Yep.
Where the tourists, oh my God, it was
a mosh pit.
It was a mosh pit.
You didn't
Wow.
move yourself.
right. You did not, you could just like get lifted up
Yep.
and move to the next destination. Wow.
I bet you COVID has helped with that. I'm sure you have to do,
You just cough on people and move out of your way.
Right.
Yeah.
But conversely, kind of again talking about what has been a place that's really above expectations, was Rome. Rome, I thought, was going to be similar. People I talked to either loved Rome or hated Rome.
I had not heard people who were real fond of Rome
Right.
and ended up loving it.
And Rome, I thought, okay, you're gonna go see the greatest hits package. See the Trevi Fountain and see the part of the Pantheon and see the Colosseum and the Forum, and that's it. And then, okay, if I just hang out in the hotel, try to find something to eat, okay, we'll get through to get to Tuscany, basically. And we all loved Rome.
Yeah.
And great food, and we're able to kind of hang out in the city.
Yeah.
In it having,
I mean, sitting at a sidewalk cafe, just feeling very cool.
Right.
Sipping a glass of Chianti and just kind of enjoying being in Rome.
In another city, I think that because of our experience there, I liked, but I could see how people don't like it, and that's Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Because we were able to get a tour of a friend from a friend of a friend.
Okay.
They gave us a walking tour of the whole city, and
it's a very walkable city.
And it was really neat what kind of how he presented it to us. Because if it wasn't for that, if you're just a regular tourist, you see it's a very party city.
Yeah.
So you see like these big like crowds of young people like just kind of in the squares and loud music and this and that. And then of course there's like the red light district and this and that, and it's all kind of like touristy. It's like just very kind of like Times Square of, I mean, maybe not like lit like that, but it's the same kind of like idea. This is what you do when you're in Amsterdam, where when you get off the main path, which I guess the idea of backyard road trips anyway, it was such a cool city.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, one thing that I have two people to thank, one of whom is my son, one of whom is my son's wife, was you urging us to stay a few days in Iceland.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Iceland is a stopover to get to Europe. He says, while you're there, just stay a few days. They were right.
Really?
It was very, very nice.
What'd you explore there in Iceland?
What's that?
What'd you explore? Did you go like waterfalls or?
1 day in Reykjavik
Yeah.
and 2 days on tours on the outside.
Oh, cool.
And it was just really nice.
Nice.
Yep.
I was gonna say, are there places that you haven't visited that you kind of that's on the bucket list or something? Hong Kong? I don't know. Maybe not Hong Kong.
One of the big ones for us would be to get to Ireland as a family. That's been one that we've been talking about. But with the dynamic of children, it's sometimes a little.
He's old enough to drink now, according to your story here.
Yeah, definitely. Tommy will be soon too.
And he'd enjoy a Guinness.
That's right. Well, Charlie's the one that loves the beer. He's just. What are you eating, by the way? Brownie. Is that a whole bowl?
In a
of brownies?
bowl? Like popcorn.
Oh, brownie and popcorn. Very good.
Can I pour some milk on it?
It's not milk.
Anything with you, Jim, that you've either kind of an uncovered gem or this is not really.
I know for sure I had when we were going down to the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
Everyone said, because we're driving down, you got to see Asheville, and it was awful. I hated trash.
I didn't think it was awful, but I was very disappointed in Asheville.
Yeah,
because a very good friend of mine from high school lived near there, and he says, "Oh, you're going to be in the area. You got to go to Asheville. You'll love it." I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, it was not at all what I thought. It was kind of, I don't know.
Actually, we went another wanted to go to the Research Triangle, Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and very disappointed by them too.
Yeah. Virginia. I gotta remember if it was West Virginia or Virginia. I think it was Virginia. Like Southern Virginia. I think right when you get over the border was maybe some of the most beautiful country I've ever seen. I felt like we were driving through the Shire. It was just rolling green pastures.
Wow,
I was like,
okay.
I always had the bad opinion about Virginia, but
Well, I've heard the same
Virginia's
thing about West Virginia.
Yeah.
That, the John Denver song, I mean, I have no desire to go to West Virginia, but apparently it is gorgeous.
I just recently learned that song was written. It was supposed to be about Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
But they couldn't fit Massachusetts in the thing, so West Virginia flowed off the tongue easier.
Mountain Mama and the Berkshires. I guess the Appalachians do go through the
technically.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
The Appalachian or Appalachian?
Don't ask me.
I always say Appalachian. but
I'd say Appalachian.
It's Appalachia.
Is it really?
Is
It is definitely Appalachia.
When
You don't
did
run
that
across
start?
anyone who thinks that. So.
Again, it
When
was
did it start?
my friend Stan, who is a or was, he's probably retired now, county health commissioner in a tiny backwoods county in North Carolina. He says, no, it's Appalachia. He says, you say Appalachia around and people go,
Oh, really?
yeah.
So the
All right.
Appalachian Trail.
Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
You say that up here, though. People think like, who's
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, one surprise vacation, and Zach can tell us what year it was. I don't remember.
1994.
Probably.
Was it?
Pittsburgh.
That's the
Are
one.
you kidding me?
He's good.
What? He sure is.
We had gone the previous year to California, right?
Ireland.
Oh, it was Ireland. Okay, it was overseas. And we made a deal with him. It's like, we'll go any place you want if you can drive there in one day. So he takes out the atlases. He was 10 years old. Takes out the atlases. Says, I got it.
I was 11.
You were telling me about this recently. Yeah.
He says, I got it. Where? Pittsburgh. We looked at each other. Pittsburgh? It was great. Went to a ball game. Went to the Andy Warhol Museum.
Mm-hmm.
I had a migraine that lasted 2 days.
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. And we were on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, and we were looking for a bathroom, and a woman directed me to the men's room, and we're just talking about Pittsburgh. She says, do you know about the Strip? And I said, no. She says, on Sunday, basically 4 or 5 blocks of downtown is turned into an open-air market. It was great.
Wow.
It was produce, it was meat, it was fish, it was used CDs, or probably records at the time. It was just great.
That sounds.
And the
like a
people
great
in Pittsburgh are very nice.
Really?
Very nice.
They don't have then what I would assume is the sort of what I think is the New England edge of like just kind of hating people, that Yankee like. I think of most cities. I mean, Philadelphia, even though the brotherly love, but Philly torch.
Oh,
their
yeah.
own. They burn the city
don't
down
think-
when
I
Phillies
think-
lose.
No,
Yeah.
No?
Pittsburgh,
Just
not
nice people?
at all.
Oh.
The people were really nice.
Pittsburgh's Midwest. It's
It
definitely.
really
Really?
is. Yeah, you're
Really?
almost in Cleveland.
Yeah, I know it's super far. I'm surprised that
I would say all
you guys
those.
went for it.
I would say all those cities, though. I mean, I've been to Detroit, Kansas City, when we were in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Again, really kind of hidden gems that I feel like.
I mean, there's a whole phrase, Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
That
Right.
Minnesotans are supposed to be.
But I remember, I remember I've probably said this on here before, but going to Detroit, I think in 2009, right when it would make the cover of Time magazine. Hey, come on.
Whoa, that special guest.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I remember you always talked about
Yeah.
how fond you were of
the
Detroit.
people were so friendly, the architecture was beautiful, and just kind of good food, and so it was just a neat city. And then enjoyed Kansas City with its barbecue, and just I think being from the East Coast, I feel like we're coastists. I always say it's like either the West Coast, East Coast, Chicago. Then it's like they're just kind of behind a little bit, when it really wasn't the case, and just so many really neat kind of places that you can also do. Kind of like when you're seeing Renaissance in Norwich or cities that you can afford, because you could have some really cool places that you can't have in Boston because you can't afford the
Right.
rents.
And even, smaller places like Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and
Right.
Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see people taking an active role in making it very livable.
Andrew, sit in front of the microphone.
Yeah, step up to the mic.
Drew's bees, everybody.
Yep. So the question is, places that you've gone to that have either been above your expectations that you would never have guessed that you like, or places that just you were expecting something and they were a bust.
Does it have to be local?
No.
Okay, so Buffalo River National Park in Arkansas. Yeah, there's a lot of like lesser known national parks.
Yeah.
And they are really the places to hit now that national parks are so inundated. Like the Yosemite and Yellowstone are just like, like Disney almost now.
Right,
And it's the lesser known ones where you can, have a campsite all to yourself, do amazing things in some of the most beautiful earth on this wide watery globe. Yeah.
Arkansas, huh?
How did you get down there, or why?
We were going across the country and like we drove
when you were a kid.
we drove like crazy the first day. We got to Arkansas and and then we like stayed there for a week and we realized we'd never get across the country if we just like indulged how much we loved that.
Wow, you stayed there for a week.
Stayed in Buffalo Creek. It's either Buffalo Creek or
And
Buffalo
that's
River.
when you guys went with your family cross country.
Yeah.
When you were 11, you got the Dodge Caravan.
Dodge Grand Caravan.
Caravan,
Don't
Grand
don't
Caravan.
sandbag me
Yeah.
like that. All right. It was a Grand Caravan, and it was grand.
you
And
had
John Hyatt wrote a song about it.
and then you had the thing on top with the snail shell on it.
Sears card top carrier.
Yep.
Will you stop
Yeah,
depriving me of my name brands?
that's right. Here's your stop. I remember when you got the card top
tired of
carrier.
this.
We kind of felt that way with where did we go this summer? North Cascades National Park in Washington, because no admission fee, no nothing. You just waltz in there, and it's gorgeous, and it's not crowded, and
See, that was the fun part about driving cross country, all back roads.
right, yeah.
I mean, you find some Myrtle, South Dakota. You just find some places that it's like, oh man, this is charming. We went to the Spokane World's Fair. The World's Fair in Spokane could fit on Chelsea Parade. It was really tiny, but it was so much fun. We literally happened upon it. And
That's
it was
pretty
great.
cool.
It was great.
All right.
So any place that you've been to that you were excited for that missed the mark?
I'm not a big city guy. So I just feel kind of overwhelmed and out of my element. So cities, kind of in general.
Just cities in general.
Yeah, the human endeavor just appeals to me less. Yeah, I mean, art's nice, but just bustle upon bustle is tough for me.
This is true. Definitely. Yeah. Should we wrap it up? What do we
guess
got to think?
so.
I know we've been, well, thank you for
Andrew, for
jumping
joining
in.
us
I
for
know,
this.
jumping in the,
Sorry about the dog barking.
No, that's
No,
okay.
no.
It's-
We got the software to really
Yeah.
enhance it.
Oh, yeah.
They got the software.
That's right. See what AI can do.
Yeah, right.
And thank Grampy/Ken
well,
from
thank
Ken
you.
Lamothe
Thank you. Oh,
for being.
man.
And Andrew, if you'd like some
Yeah.
non-dairy
Milk
milk, or
alternatives.
non-dairy milk
Yeah.
cereal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Soy, rice, oat,
No,
Oh,
rice.
almond.
An almond. Yeah. No rice. Yeah.
No rice. Okay.
Yeah.
What one?
Racist here.
2-1 kind of.
2?
As a treat, the almond milk tasted almost like a liquid milk. Well, not liquid milkshake. Milkshakes are liquid.
A light
Hey.
milkshake.
Yeah. And then the oat milk was probably the best milk substitute.
Oh yeah.
That's what I drink.
That's what I did. Yeah, too. And I won't change because of that, I don't think.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
He's Doug in.
Curmudgeonly, and that's it. Yeah. Well, I'm Zach.
I'm Jim again.
I'm still Ken.
I'm Drew.
Thanks for listening to Backyard Road Trips. You can follow us at backyardroadtrips.com or online at X, Facebook, or Instagram.